Welcome to US Columbus News Channel. There was a great panic on the territory of Russia. Russian military airbase has become a target once again. Strong explosions occurred at Russia's L0ST military airbase. Attacking the same area for the second time in a short time revealed a lot. The inadequacies of Russia's defense are reaching a critical level. Moreover, as the war spreads to its own country, the importance of defense power is seen more clearly. War started to last so long that it started to be felt on the territory of Russia. As a result of the operations of the Ukrainian armed forces, many Russian soldiers are also facing serious problems on the territory of Ukraine. Moreover, even if they want to escape, they are caught. This situation demoralized the Russian army so much that many Russian soldiers had to surrender. In this war that has been going on for about 10 months, Russian lands are witnessing powerful explosions. After Russia's attacks on infrastructures in Ukraine, the increase in explosions on Russian soil suggests that there may be a retaliation. In the past days, military points and airports on the territory of Russia were targeted and attacks were carried out. As a result of these attacks, Russia suffered significant losses. At the same time, many of these attacks remained a mystery. Moreover, some points have started to be hit again. According to breaking news, the L0ST military airbase in the Saratov region of Russia was attacked for the second time in a short time. Explosions occurred at this military airfield. In the previous attack, several Russian soldiers were neutralized. Now it has been reported that flames have risen from the area. Allegedly, this attack was carried out with unmanned aerial vehicles, and it was stated that air attack alarms were activated immediately after. Fact that the airspace of the strategic aviation of the Russian aerospace forces deployed in the region was attacked for the second time in a very short time increased the panic in Moscow even more. Moreover, it was reported that many military equipment caught fire after these powerful explosions. It is thought that these attacks may have been carried out by Ukraine. Although Kiev has not made a statement on this issue, it is thought that the attacks on the Russian side came from Ukraine and more may come. At the same time, it is estimated that the advantage will be used if the Ukrainian army has long-range weapons for these attacks. This situation increases the tension on the Russian side. Because many of these attacks, which are carried out in a very short time, cannot be prevented. Every day, many Russian military points and equipment are also seriously damaged. This also plays a big role in the war. At the same time, the reason for these moves is seen as the reduction of Russia's air attack power. As it is known, although Russia suffers casualties, it still has aircraft and advantages for air strikes. It is thought that Russia, which has many warplanes, is also likely to carry out air strikes on Ukrainian territory. Being aware of this, Ukraine may want to weaken Russia's military power in its airspace. Moreover, it is known that many Russian strategic and bomber warplanes are located in such military airfields. These planes pose a risk for Ukraine. Being aware of this, Ukraine has called on countries to send air defense systems many times. Military support to Ukraine is increasing day by day. This will allow the air attacks of Russian soldiers to be largely prevented. Moreover, the future of many more air defense systems is known. Even now, the vast majority of airstrikes on Ukrainian territory can be thwarted. This is both the capabilities of the Ukrainian soldiers and the various air defense systems that came to the country. Although Ukraine had to start the war as a country with much less resources, the incoming aid gives Kiev a great advantage. Russia, on the other hand, is losing more and more losses both in its own country and on the territory of Ukraine. Attacks on Russian territory also revealed the weakness of Russia's defense power. Many of these attacks were found to be unstoppable. This made us think that Russia might not have left enough military equipment in its country. If this defensive inadequacy continues and adequate measures are not taken, more casualties will be incurred. Losses will also increase. For these reasons, Russian military equipment may even have to be withdrawn from Ukrainian territory. This situation will further reduce the power of the Russian army fighting on the fronts in Ukraine. Gradual decrease in the power of the soldiers on the fronts may make it impossible to achieve success on the Russian side. All these developments have an effect that will determine the course of the war. For these reasons, the operations carried out in the countries are much more critical. It is known that the intensity of the operations on the Eastern Front has increased. Especially in Donbass, conflicts and operations started to increase. While the record attacks in Donetsk have started to push the Russian soldiers even more, it was seen that the Russian army was struggling as the violence of the attacks increased in Luhansk. Due to the attacks launched on this front in the past days, the Russian authorities and the commander began to fear and moved away from the Svatov region and advanced towards the center. This showed that the situation on the front is progressing in favor of Ukraine. Now it has been reported that about 10 Russian soldiers advancing towards the Luhansk region refused to fight. Then these soldiers who wanted to escape were captured and detained by the Russian forces. It is known that many Russian soldiers tried to escape or surrendered to Ukrainian soldiers before. This situation shows that these Russian soldiers are starting to have a lot of difficulty and also proves that Russia's military authority is starting to weaken even more. Some of the reasons for this are obvious. These are both the bad conditions provided to the Russian army and the sanctions imposed on their country. Due to all these soldiers, who experience serious decreases in their motivation, have a very difficult time in achieving success. For this reason, they may not want to engage in conflict and suffer major defeats. Thereupon, it was reported that the Russian soldiers started patrolling in order to avoid this situation. While Russia is dealing with many problems, it becomes much more difficult to achieve success in this war that it started. Moreover, according to the statements, the Eastern Front is now becoming the region where the Russian soldiers are weakest and suffer the greatest losses. Much greater success will be achieved if the Ukrainian armed forces increase their successful operations. This will provide great advantages in the course of the war. From now on, the moves and every step taken between countries will have a much more critical importance. This will determine the fate of the countries regarding the war. For this, more attention should be paid to the steps taken. If Ukraine is to be successful in the war, the support sent should also be increased. If Russia makes more strategic mistakes, it will have to face greater defeats and losses. This will cause the war to proceed completely in favor of Ukraine. In the long run, the course will be determined according to the decisions of the country's leaders and commanders. If Russia continues its attacks on infrastructures, it will not be successful. For this reason, the continuation of such moves will cause an increase in losses on the Russian side. In the following process, it will be clearer what will happen according to the steps taken and the decisions made. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.